Committee, Congressman Tim Burchett. Congressman, great to have you tonight, and I want to get your reaction to that because it's no coincidence that our adversaries have become emboldened since this president has been in the White House, and it appears after they saw his debate performance, they do realize that there is an opportunity here, even for the rest of his term, with respect to serving that time out. There is a clear threat that, essentially he's asleep at the wheel. That is very dangerous on the global stage.
It's completely dangerous, ma'am, and thank you so much for having me on. Just look at Cuba, 90 miles off the coast of the United States of America. You've got China down there, you've got Russian possible nukes, and nobody's raising a red flag about it in Washington, D.C. This entire town is compromised. Our White House is compromised. This president doesn't even know what's going on. And the world leaders, of course, they're paying attention to that. I tweeted that out on my X account at Tim Burchett the night of the debate. They're licking their chops. They know they got 7 months. And when they heard Donald Trump's vision during the debate, all the Democrats in the state-run media could say Trump lied. Well, I'll tell you, Trump told the truth, because during his presidency, China was contained. Russia was not moving on Ukraine. Gaza was not inflamed. The whole world sees this, and the national media has just carried this president's water. And the reason they elected this guy. They pushed him in. 20 million so-called conservatives decided to stay home on election day because of a bad tweet. And this is who we got. We got to put enough points on the board so they can't steal it.
And speaking of our adversaries and how President Trump was able to keep them in check with respect to the Middle East and Iran, who is really at the center of all these proxy groups that are causing destruction and trouble in the region, he essentially had that regime bankrupted because of sanctions and because of energy prices and production here in the United States. I mean, when Biden walked into the White House and gave all of that back, that's when this all started.
And he did it without firing a shot. He understood, as our adversaries did in the Second World War, that they woke a sleeping giant. The American industrial base, working people that go to work every dadgum day and produce for this country. That is our greatest strength. And then now he's risking our military strength with all these woke, crazy policies and everything else. So this is a complete capitulation on all fronts. By putting Joe Biden out on the world stage, this deal with Stephanopoulos, I mean, they'll rehearse that, they'll edit that. That's not true. Ma'am, you're a true journalist. You won't see that in this thing tonight. That'll just be some dog and pony show worse than the January 6th commission.
Congressman, if they continue to push this charade forward with Joe Biden, and if for some reason he was able to win the election, would Congress step in and try to exercise the 25th Amendment powers that are available to them to say he's not mentally fit to do the job? I mean, obviously, or you'd want to do that before the election just to make sure that Kamala Harris wasn't going to take the top seat. This is a very, very tricky situation. And unfortunately, the Democrats are really good at manipulating. You bring up that Stephanopoulos interview. They're going to keep putting him out there in situations with conditions that are conducive to his mental state. And they're going to tell the American people he had a bad night and nothing's wrong.
They're going to keep saying that lie. They focus group that. That's the closest thing they got. And it's a dissolving line between the national media and the Democrat National Committee. I mean, I salute them. They've done a great job of infiltrating our national media over the years, and the Republicans have done a very poor job. Just look at what happened in Wisconsin. We've warned about what's going on. The American public, I think, is aware. We've just got to keep our focus, and we can't get cocky over this thing. I can remember when Bill Clinton, a draft dodger, beat George Bush, a war hero, and we were so cocky when we found out that he evaded the draft. He went to England or whatever, and I can see that happening to us again. We cannot be cocky. We have got to push through. This isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. We've got to run through the finish line, and we've got to do it at all levels, state, federal, and local, because we are losing our country. This one is for all the marbles. If we do not elect Donald Trump this election, you can kiss this country goodbye as we know it today.
Congressman Tim Burchett, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being with us.